Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn, and I have 3 of my messages of the day for you that are channeled, as well as the twin flame read on the table. That is an abbreviated version of my 7-deck read. It's only 2 decks today. But again, amazing energies, and I was just tapping into my inner child, and she was giggling again about something, so she's all gleeful. And I wanted to use that word glee, which just came up. It did come up earlier as well. So we're going to get right into it. It's a beautiful day out here. Let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths if you'd like to. You can always pass by here if you don't want to. Go ahead and take a deep breath. Another deep breath. One more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings, sending a big hug out to you guys. I hope you felt that. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and thank you so much for joining me. It's so beautiful outside. There's a nice breeze. I was just taking Teddy for a walk. We went on a street we don't normally walk on, so that was kind of fun for him. I don't know if I liked the energies as much on that street, but Teddy liked the newness of it, so we're going to leave that as it is, since new is also coming up. Let's go ahead and roll the die, see what's coming up for the twin flames. By the way, we started the video, it was 314, so pi is coming up. And again, that equality of sharing and balancing, it doesn't have to be exactly equal. It's very much a complementary balance, right? Because each person wants something different. And there's also the 3 of the Empress and abundance, and 14 of the Temperance card of that higher love of patience and balance. For the twins today is May 25th, 2023, for the twin flames. Okay, we have the 6, so the lovers. That's also Gemini and the twins. It's also love, family, and community. And the spiral as well. We also have Sagittarius here and the Archer. So, again, mutable. And we have Gemini, which is also mutable. And Sagittarius is very much, for me, the wanderer. Kind of like that energy of Kung Fu walking around the earth. Open to all new things and cultures. But Sagittarius may need to, I'm just getting now, create a few more boundaries for themselves, because they're so open, it gets them into trouble, and there's some addiction attached to Sagittarius as well because of that. The 3rd die here coming up is Neptune, so very dreamy Pisces energy. So we have 3 mutable energies here, very flexible energies, a lot of back and forth energies, right, because they're the messengers. So I guess there's a lot of messages to bring forth here. I'm going to pull you a card from my Fortune Oracle deck. See what comes up for you guys. So why is there so many messages coming through? And it's 3:18 right now. Just got it to bring that up, which is actually my half birthday. And that came up the other day as well, half birthdays. So the other side of you, right? So as we're in Gemini right now, the axis for Gemini is Sagittarius, of course. And they're just bringing up Sagittarius for that reason. But this Sagittarius axis is pulling up all of these mutable energies, is what I'm getting. It's like they're reining in all their buddies to help them out with the messages. And that came right out. That was slick. The mountain, right? If the mountain won't come to Muhammad goes to the mountain. The 22 of the Fool's Journey, with an open heart and a leap of faith. Know that you're protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious as well. And again, there's those boundaries for Sagittarius coming up. And we also have Aries with the Fool right there. We also have Patience popping up over here with the 24 and the Queen of Wands, which is also fire energy. Slow down, change your attitude, and clear your mind. And I was getting the card from the SIRIAN Starseed deck, the Knight of Wands, because it's very much the Knight of Wands with a slow burn, right? The yellow flame as opposed to a big red flame. So here's the hourglass is also significant today, as the hourglass represents the infinity symbol. And this is a perfect picture. I didn't realize this would be a good example for this. But in the twin flame, the Star of Bethlehem type of energy, where the star is created down the middle of the masculine and the feminine energies here, where these two halves are the independent part of each, but the inside part is the hourglass part that they share in the middle. And again, there's that energy of the torus in the middle, that 0 point field that's created, the star that creates here, that double diamond energy. So again, requires that slow burn as we come into that infinity energy, which will come up, again, this picture will come up in my notes as well. So the mountain and patience, as the goat, the Capricorn goat climbs the mountain, remember? And patience is required, because going back up the mountain is a bit tougher than coming down. And I always wondered about the Grand Canyon, because when you go down, it takes 6 hours, but they take the mules back up in 4 hours, which is a much harder job for the mules, but it's also faster. We have the owl here too, of wisdom, and the 23 of the King of Wands, as it is this year, 23 and 24, this year and next year, and 22. So they're referencing these three years, 22, 23, and 24, with 24 in the middle, and 24 is Omega. It also represents enlightenment. So there's this energy of enlightenment in 24. And again, the coming together of the twin flames. And the wisdom that 1923, perhaps that as well is coming up, but 2023 is bringing through the wisdom to slow down. And there are spiritual messages and great wisdom to be found during this period of transition. So again, the messengers, as we have all messengers right here on the table. Okay? And so have patience in climbing that mountain. There's no hurry. 22, 23, and 24. That's a very significant energy. And again, there's an extra note here. This is like in One for Good Luck. The number 3 of Mother Nature and abundance. And just be careful who you trust at the time. And again, boundaries are coming up again for Sagittarius and Gemini. Okay, so let's put these up here. Mountain, patience. So the King and Queen of Wands, the Fool, and the Fool's Journey. And then to be careful. Let me pull this over just a little bit, so that'll fit in. What is back there? Oh, it's just the tree. Ah, it's the amethyst tree is back there. That's what it was stuck on. So amethyst, purple's coming up for Sagittarius again. There's this purple Sagittarius energy that really wants to push its way through in the message here today. So let's see how that plays out. We have celebrations here at the bottom. You are ready to bring new, and I told you new is a big word today, and exciting things into your life. Celebrations, and of course this is that time of year for celebrations. There's lots of graduations and birthdays and weddings and all sorts of stuff. We have the 5 of excitement, freedom and change, as well as expansion, and the Hierophant, of course, which can bring through Taurus energy. Okay, so let's put these guys aside, and this read on the table will be last. We're going to do that last today. The first one is a message of the day. And for this one we have the tarot the oracle I was just using, the Fortune Oracle, and then my tea leaves, both halves of the deck, and then the Shaman Dreams deck, and then my half deck of Rider-Waite with mostly characters, okay? It's all characters really, but that's perhaps subjective. And it's my subjectiveness. All right, so just a little bit closer up so you can see the cards better. Okay. So this one was done on the 24th, yesterday. So everything was done from yesterday till today, except the one on the table might have been done the night of the 23rd, but we'll get there when we get there. This one was pulled 1244 to 50, so the 44 of the 4 of Cups, the 46 of the 6 of Cups, 47 of the 7 of Cups, 49 of the 9 of Cups, and then the 10 of Cups with the 50. For those of you not familiar, the left pile is the underlying energy. I usually pull 3 cards unless a 4th comes out with the last card. And then the extra cards that want to come out organically I use in numerology as well as to complete the story for each line, or the storyline. So at the end of these decks I usually get 2 numbers the way the cards come out, because they usually come out 1 and then there'll be more cards that come out. So the first number is 111101 and then 549107. And 1111's been coming out a lot. And Gematria, the first entry there is Twin Flames. And I was getting the energy of Twin Flames 101, along with the Page of Swords, 910, Begin Again, with the Chariot, Ascension, Moving and Travel, the Twin Flames with space between, the Shadow and the Wish, and 107. I looked up 107 because it came up right there in Gematria, and it was Greek, his, bridge, and chase. Actually, it's Greek, bridge, his, chase. So it's very much, and it's all Greek to me, the bridge to his chase. Very interesting there, right? Co-creation 101 as well, with the Hierophant and the Emperor, which is Taurus and Aries, and the Hermit and the Magician, which is Virgo and Gemini, or Virgo as well, with Source or Sourced, the Boomerang Effect, with 01 and 07, and again 107 as well as 01 and 07 both came up here in different ways, and the 1 of the Magician and the 7 of the Chariot, with a lot of space between, which is also source energy supporting you. So twice to pay off. So double indemnity and double jeopardy both came up again. They came up last month or so, but they're coming up again here. And again, the difference is double indemnity is an insurance policy that pays double the insurance for an accidental type death. And then double jeopardy is where you can't be tried for the same crime twice. So like if you had to spend time in jail for a murder that you didn't do, you could then go out and murder that person. Nothing would happen to you because they can't put you away again. And again, there's the movie Double Jeopardy is the example of that. The Fifth Amendment then came up simplified online. This was constitutionus.com at 103. And I summarized their summary, so this isn't quoted, but just generally what they said in the Fifth Amendment simplified. No one can be held for a capital offense or infamous crime without a grand jury, except for certain, I guess, military and war crimes. You can't be tried twice for the same crime or put in jeopardy of life or limb. In a criminal case, a criminal case is not to be... in a criminal case that you don't have to witness against yourself or be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. And again, it's considered the self-incrimination amendment. The twin flame message of magician embodiment, the central sun, and the boomerang effect, you rang, and then Lurch came up, which, by the way, that was first 1964 in the Addams family, and Adam will come up later from today's read, which is short in alchemy, ADM. So Lurch comes up here, and in the lurch of the church, or hanging by design. And then Ted Cassidy came up, because that's Lurch. He was from Pittsburgh, PA, which I didn't realize, and raised in Philippi, West Virginia. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation of it, but West Virginia. But there were no news about Lurch that came up, just that information. He was born July 31st, 32, so he's Leo, and passed away. And this is why it was interesting that it came up, because usually I'll get people who just died will come up in the news, and that's why they'll bring it through for me to look it up for you guys. But Lurch, or Ted Cassidy, passed away January 16th, 1979, which is a long time ago. And I was getting that there's some kind of secret there that needed to come out. I don't know if it has or if it may. But he passed away in Los Angeles, complications of his heart surgery. And as soon as I read that, I was getting that there was a problem there that wasn't right. There's something that happened that shouldn't have, and someone might want to look into that. And that was coming from Wikipedia. At 117, which is the Magician, and the 17 of the Star, the underlying energy was the 31 of the Thorns, the Scissors, the Leg, the King of Swords, 51, and the Knight of Cups, 39. Weathering the challenges with groups, conflicts, and competition will bring new and positive future and changes, cutting things out that no longer serve to get a leg up for the King of Swords and the Knight of Cups. And the King of, they're both upright here, so it's that energy of the man who's in his integrity but can come off a little bit cold, and then the Knight of Cups who is just being love, right? That message of love. So the underlying energy here is the 10 of fire, 13 of golds, 31 of thorns, and there's that reflection of 13 and 31, which reference life and death, basically. That 13 is death and 31 is chaos, or life. And then chaos represents control, just like Get Smart, of the agencies of control and chaos. And then that also comes down to attachment and resistance, and not doing those energies. Instead, letting go and going with the flow. So, destined to burn through upheaval and then embrace the renewal of death and rebirth. And remember, you basically die and are reborn every night when you go to sleep. Control and chaos, gold and thorns, 30 pieces of silver, and the crown of thorns, and the Thornbirds came up, and I'd forgotten. I looked it up real quick because I forgot the characters of the Thornbirds, and there's a priest as one of the sons in that show. Destined to transition through transmutation, transformation, and ultimately transcendence. At 128, the 1 of the Magician or Divine Masculine, and the 28 of the Twin Flames, or that choice of path, and the 5 of celebration, ready for the new, the 16 and the 8 of the Lion and the Dragonfly, birthing with a rebel yell into 2 as 1, which is really cool because the double wings just came up in a message I was getting in the last read as well. From chaos to freedom in removing the crown, from a holy place of longing and offering to a beautiful mind, collapsing in upon itself in one pulsing heart, which is that reference of the dragonfly, or the crowning gift through the eye of the tiger, birthing through the lion's roar, 2 as 1 in a sudden dance of not 1, but 2 crazy 8s, and a 3rd to tip the rolling stone of 3WEM, or M3WE, which I always think of as MeWe, and the Star of Bethlehem, which I just showed you on that card, which will come up in a drawing I did as well, because there's very much the energy of the fleur-de-lis. So the energy of the sea and the anti-sea, which is the sea of the Christ consciousness and the anti-sea, right, of that feminine, which reflects the masculine, or Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which is parentheses, the pairing of the seas, and antithesis was the the seas. They are tied together, they are linked with 2 rings. And again, then the toroidal field came up and the projection of this. So again, where I'm getting into this at the bottom here. Let me just focus it in a little bit better. Okay, so there's the toroidal field, and you see where the fleur-de-lis comes in. And again, this is the example I was showing you before of the masculine and feminine, and then the star they create between in that supernova moment of coming together, where then the upright 2 8s become the big infinity symbol on its side. And again, the example of the Star of Bethlehem. And again, this energy of the 2 rings holding the 2 seas together. Okay, so it's all the same picture of the toroidal field, right? So the toroidal field can be straight up and down with the energy going equally. It's 3:33 on the clock, going equally both up and down. Or you can plug it off like the apple, plug off the bottom, and then you force all the energy straight up. But also we see the toroidal field in the JC initials as the toroidal field with direction, right? So creating that angle, that longitudinal angle, to create a pathway or a projection in all directions, not just up and down. So again, I was guided to draw the pictures on the next page. All right, so we have these energies connecting to the fleur-de-lis and the apple of the toroidal field and the double diamond supernova moment And again, I always get the Star of Bethlehem for that. Okay, so take whatever messages you get from it as well for yourself. And you see the two crazy eights standing upright, but also when they stand together become horizontal automatically. And then the big infinity symbol, which becomes them as they come together with the shared flame down the middle, which you now see the hourglass of each masculine and feminine is the shared space. And then they each still have their independence out here. Okay, sharing equally within themselves as well. So the energy of, at 142, which is the Divine Masculine and the Two of Cups, of the birth and the 4, the Chariot and the 6, the Eagle and the 9, the Cracker and the 7, and that's like the firecracker celebration energy, and the abundance of the 1, in the Lambda leap of the L, or the number 4, which is the L and the 1. The Lambda is the Lamb to the Father leap. Remember, the 1 is 2 dots and an arc between, the bridge, the leap. The birth through the spiral chariot of the mother's heart, which if you see the technical drawing of the energy of the heart, it's 2 spirals coming together, which literally make the picture of the rose. The spiral chariot of the mother's heart, which is coming up as the 4 and the 6. The 4 being the father, the emperor energy, and the 6 being the mother energy, the spiral, and 6, which is all about love, family, and community. And the lovers, of course. As the hermit eagle soars towards July celebration and fireworks of abundance and lucky times ahead, through the father and mother, a child is born. The eagle has landed, and Cracker Jacks came up here. And that was just a download that came in. And then JFK came up as the vehicle of the Divine Masculine's abundance. The Nutcracker over a cracker barrel, and then Jiminy Cricket came up. So whatever comes up for you right in this instant as I'm saying it, it's a message. So please, enter it in the comments if you do get a download, or just for yourself, which is fine. Just trusting what you get as this information comes up. The eagle has landed with Cracker Jacks. JFK, the vehicle of Divine Masculine's abundance, with the Nutcracker, and again, the one who cracks nuts. It can reference JFK. It can reference a reincarnation of JFK. It can reference JFK Airport as the vehicle for the Divine Masculine's abundance, coming in through Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. And the Nutcracker, and you want to picture the soldiers, the Nutcrackers, and Cracker Barrel coming up, and again over a barrel, and the barrel coming over the waterfalls, and then the waterfalls are coming up, Niagara specifically, and then Jiminy Cricket, and then the Cricket Club came up. So when I looked up Jiminy Cricket to see why it was coming up, Jiminy Cricket was actually the one welcoming people at the Animal Kingdom in April 22, 2023 was 25 years anniversary, as Longwood Garden ads were coming up as well, and that's a big, a big garden in the Philadelphia area that people go to visit. And there's, they're open all summer for people to come see the flowers, and there are different events they have there. Pinocchio's conscience then came up with Jiminy Cricket, as in one of the cards from the tea leaves kept coming up. January looks like Pinocchio frozen over, right? So when he stops lying is when hell freezes over, right? Well, that happens. So Pinocchio's conscience is here with Jiminy Cricket, as Pinocchio freezes over in January, and the 46 of the inner children and outer children birthing in the chariot, the vehicle of ascension, with Source soaring overhead, ready to jump it in a fireworks moment when all hands are raised and yet coming together like, in a huddle at the same time. And let's make a deal, a pact to be one. One for all and all for one. And you notice that's 14 all and 41 all, right? So all 14 all, and then all, I always write all as an A-L-L is the whole with a W, and then A-W-L is the whole maker with the H-O-L-E, whole 41, which is the Ace of Cups and the Holy Grail. Angels all and all, AWL, Holy Grail. The temperance energy of a higher love all of the whole with a W, and then the Ace of Cups of the Holy Grail and new love with the whole with an H, and the all, the whole maker, AWL, and the Grail, which is God's rail. So angels came up before as broken down in angels and devils as an is one, the word an is one, and then gels, which comes up as iced or frost or cold or a girl, that semi-solid substance or blanking out on the word I want to use right here. That in-between state of the gel. But it also means yellow, woman and wife, bright, clear white, to come, move closer. And then the blower's daughter came up again from the movie Closer. And that'll come up as a message today as well, as someone's blowing out the candles, the blower's daughter. So one frosty girl, a woman, wife, or snow with P, or to come bright, clear white, and move close, gel, or become whole. And the whole with an H at the Y in the road, the holy, and the Y is the divine masculine, and the Grail is G, or God's rail, or the midnight train to Georgia, or GA. I think I can, as G and A is the spiral and the blast off of the rocket, the folding in upon itself in order to take off, or the orgasm. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jump over the candlestick. We're nimble and quick, and jumps over is what but a quarterback. The flame in the wick also coming up here, and the energy of the boomerang energy, right, which is like the shape of the 7, or the J going in another direction. So we have JJJ as a wave of boomerangs, and then 777 as the gamma wave of boomerangs. And I was getting burns in November and breaks January, because JJJ reflects the 777 boomerang up and down, or the J and L side to side, which is that lambda, and the J of the upside down gamma wave or boomerang. So again, there's that energy of vertical upside down and then side to side, reflecting each other. So as you can see, the J comes up with the 7 that we were talking about, but then the 7 reflects as like 2 lug wrenches here, just in 2 different directions, because the gamma wave can be represented both ways, this way and this way. And then the L is that lambda reflecting the J. So, and then Jay Leno came up, and also the name Len keeps coming up, and that came up again today as well. So Jay Leno, and my daughter's name is Jenna, but her nickname is Jay. And then Leno came up. And so I looked up Jay Leno, and the news was that Jay was doing well after his motorcycle and car fire accident. So the news was new, but it was talking about his November motorcycle accident. And this was coming out from MSN News. Was that the motorcycle or the car? Anyway, one was where he got burned, and the other one, where the motorcycle, I think, where he broke a lot of bones. Yeah, the motorcycle accident was in January, and a car fire last November. The breakdown, there's also a lot of breakdowns of the quarterbacks in the headlines as well. July 1st, 2023 is coming up as a barrel of monkeys and laughs throughout Julius, July in the U.S., and Caesar's crown. And again, there's that reference to Caesar's crown. And I always get, there's one card, Caesar's crown comes up, but I always relate it to Trump for whatever reason is coming up. At 217 is the divine feminine and the higher self, and the 17 of the star as the underlying energy of the rose of romance is in the air, and June ladder climbing towards success. And I was getting Jiminy Cricket again there. The 5 in vine, or victory, and hitting the grapevine for information, for a solid foundation and success with effort and great happiness here. The bear does come up with danger, especially in money matters, with the arrow that you are on the right path, transcending disappointment in some affair, perhaps cutting the vine, at 3:35, which is the Empress and the Wounded Warrior. At 3:36, with Atlas coming in, is the Table and the Dark Man and hard work ahead. The chair is now filled with someone new, and the candle or flame that will show you the way. The Spear with heartache over what you no longer have, the Crib and the Apple of birth or conception, and the Apple temptation that will test you here. At 3:39, the Abundance of the Empress and the 39 of the Knight of Cups. And remember, you'll be tempted to see whether you're going to cave or stand in your power and not lower your standards. With the Crown and the honor of respect coming to you, as the key presents, as someone's trying to force you against your will. With the Camel persevering and overcoming, the pin comes up here, P-I-N, which I always give you my pin example. I'm not going to describe it now because I've told you guys a million times, but I do have that video in my on my YouTube channel from a long time ago. If you search P-I-N, it should come up. But the new job and or career, and Lion with time to act, a man who wants to pin to the crown. Oh, that is so weird because it came up in the book I pulled to open a page today. The pin. So remember I said that because he was called to pin a butterfly to his lapel or something like that. But the Lion with time to act, a man who wants to pin to the crown, a change for the better, with the butterfly and the mice, with discord among family and friends, with December clouds that were only temporary, and I'm getting the February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. And I don't know if that came up in these reads, but it came up this week. I don't know if I gave that to you already in the last read, but it's coming up again. So in affairs with your family, the December clouds were only temporary in affairs with your family, as the eagle triumphs over troubles, with a leg up stepping into a new experience. With success at the table and carry me home, a journey with a dark man, and that can be just dark hair or darker skin. It's not coming up as an evil person, it's coming up as the coloring of the person, but however you receive it is the way you should take it. It's time to go out and have fun. With the rooster here, who may be arrogant and boastful, and someone you should not cross. And the 8 comes up here of the fair man as opposed to the dark man, with deep affection here. The dog energy of loyalty comes up here as close up. Perhaps someone is close to you, and I'm losing my voice a little bit. Pleasure with a close friend. Maybe who's someone who's afraid to cross those lines. But a fan of romance. Or the dog is a fan. You should accept valid criticism here as well. With angel guidance and protection from harm. With happiness and the mountain road. And I was getting mountain road with John Denver again as well. On the road to success, and there could be Scorpio energy around that. At 3:49, the underlying energies of the King of Coins reversed and the 4 of Coins upright, perhaps the Divine Masculine's heart. Depressed about dropping the ball, with the 7 of Pentacles upright, which is the Divine Feminine's heart in the SIRIAN Starseed deck. Or harvesting with the King of Swords, who's upright, a man of integrity. The Hermit is upright, with the 4 of Swords reversed and the 7 of Swords reversed. So here we have the 4 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles as the masculine and feminine's heart. And then the next line was the 4 of Swords and the 7 of Swords coming up again, reiterating the 4th chakra to the 7th chakra. That energy of the 47 as well of synchronicities. And seeing heaven in your eyes. Very important to see that, right? That is your goal, is to just imagine what you want, so it will be. The Hermit's upright, awake and coming clean from 4 to 7, and the 8 of Cups reversed with emotions that are uncomfortable. With the sovereign, independent person, or perhaps the catch, and stressed out with new passion, and the 8 of Pentacles reversed, overwhelmed or not working, as the Knight of Wands with that slow burn is rushing in to cover for peace of mind. The 8 of Wands, an energetic exchange, as we have 3 8s right here too, the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Wands, an energetic exchange. There's a 3 8s of coming into union. Knowing and keeping to themselves about the back and forth of the Palace of Swords reversed, and that's like a palace that's come down, and that could be a palace of intellectualism, or any like King of Swords type of energy, like the army or the police force, or just something professional, very intellectual. And the Six of Cups upright, which is that soulmate energy or past life energy or inner children and soulmate childhood energies. But it's upright here. The intellectual house or house of cards falling in, and again collapsing in upon itself, for the Six of Cups innocence to then rise. With Two of Cups, Page of Wands, and the Queen of Swords, partners in crime, inspired to speak, as the Nine of Cups satisfaction with the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups, all looking forward, as Justice of the Queen of Wands and King of Cups, with the Queen of Pentacles, Wounded Warrior, or mediation here, with Libra and Scorpio as Dark Night moves on, and the Knight of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles receive a choice that could set them free, and they could just be two earth signs or two siblings or two co-workers, from the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles lovers, or those of great affection and family and friends, or message or invite here from or for the lover or someone of great affection, the King of Wands, with the Six of Cups, and the Page of Cups and Knight of Swords along with the Knight of Wands, or the Page of Cups is being chased by two different knights as the High Priestess with the King of Pentacles, or silent partner, or one with sound advice. The Knight of Cups offers love to the Queen of Cups here. And a very inner child energy of the Six of Cups and then the Knight of Cups and Queen of Cups coming up together, both upright. A very emotional energy there and loving energy, which is coming up. And that's a repeated message too, the Knight and the Queen coming together, as well as the two knights battling over someone. And they could be battling each other, or they could be fighting over a female, or whatever the relationship is. It doesn't have to be a girl. So the 405 is the Emperor and the Hierophant with space between. They're not going to be battling between the Emperor, which is like the president, and then the 5 of the Hierophant, which can be the religious community or, one of the houses. It could be justice system or the legislature. But there's this energy of pinning the two powers against each other. A fiery Libra who took their crown to cut out and get a leg up as the King of Swords proposal of love to the Queen of Cups. And here's the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups could be the King of Swords. They could be two separate people. The Queen of Cups tempted by the King of Swords, or two different proposals, one of love and one of temptation, or the old ball and chain. As the Hermit upright sheds light, or advises the King of Swords, as the Empress and the Emperor travel or move, stressed about a trip, Divine Feminine or Pisces, or perhaps a neighbor, or coming full circle, as there may be graduations. My next door neighbor graduated yesterday. The end of an era and time to make magic. As the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups, Capricorn King of Swords may be waving to the Hermit with their light on, or the King of Swords is shedding light on himself, and or the Queen of Cups, as the Empress pulls away and the Emperor hits the road without sleep, with a look away to drive to manifest big. At 412, which is the Emperor and then hanging out being wise. So at 501 is the underlying energy of the basket and the knot, both recognition and reward and unsuccessful plans, as the underlying energy is also a hand up, as the grasshopper requires careful handling. They're very fragile. That someone may gossip about all your secrets. With sunrise and fresh start, or full exposure in a new start, as the shark attacks to bail out, with increased efforts if you want to achieve the goals. The bull is there, so don't back down, show strength and fortitude, bridging a problem with reward or a basket, and that could be, at work you may get your gift for being there 5 or 10 years. That could come up as well. The first card next is the kangaroo with Joey. So again, mothers and children coming up here, or new pregnancies. And the carrot on a stick dangling in front of the seahorse, or family matters, or that family matters. And there's the horse energy again on a short journey. Perhaps someone taking a ride on a horse. And then a meeting with the dolphin where something pays off. And the dolphin's very friendly and very high vibe energy there. Very happy kind of energy, happy-go-lucky. And then 508 is the Hierophant and the Strength card, or the dance of freedom, and the underlying energy of the nest that's important for support in a financial pinch, and karma that you will reap what you sow, and be playing a different role or wearing a different hat. feeling tied down or frustrated or yoked, as the King of Cups is very balanced in their emotions when plans are unsuccessful. The crown of honor and respect that come to you now with obstacles to overcome and fly. There may be a period of illness or depression here. The dog, there's a dog card coming up as far away. A distant friend may be thinking of you, and July as well. Or that could be someone thinking of you in July and reaching out. But again, the July and Julius and Augustus Caesar both coming up, as Julius is the July in the U.S., or again, July always comes up as the Jews lie as well, and referencing the Christ energy. So we have this next read here, and it's 40:42 on the clock here, and 3:55, which is the Empress and the Truth, Abundance and the Truth. So here we have the past life deck, and then we have my combined decks of the Lenormand, Reverie, and Kipper together. And then we have the Wild Unknown here. I'll show you closer up. The Wild Unknown, and then my half deck of Rider-Waite down at the bottom. So this was done yesterday at 5:26 to 29. So the 26, 27, 28, 29 is the Page of Wands, the Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, and Three of Wands. So the energy of getting inspired, becoming passionate about something, and then the twin flame choice of path, as well as the twin flames in general, perhaps taking a leap instead of choosing a path. And then the 29 of being present in the moment with your gifts as well, as 1111 came up again of the twin flames, as well as 151011, where 151 was coming up in Gematria as the decoder, mRNA, Anita and Gods, the Bible, Dogs, and Code Red. The twin flames shadow wheel aligned as the Magician, King of Swords, Libra perhaps, and or Virgo or Gemini, Capricorn here. The underlying energy of the love life in the past life deck. So coming up to clear in the underlying energies, or has been cleared already. The 27 of the Ace of Wands, the flame, and the unexpected income or incoming. The hummingbird and the Queen of Wands, which is 24. The lover's flame and the exchange of hands in high vibe clearing of the air with the Queen of Wands or Omega and enlightenment there. At 5:37 of the Hierophant and the King of Cups, the underlying energy of biblical and forgiveness. The carpenter on the fourth quarter of the bench as two doves are squawking about a child or the baby in the basket like Moses. And 30 pieces of silver or finances as ships come in spankin' white and new from another galaxy to your love life. Perhaps one's wanting to sell the baby for 30 pieces to buy a ship or get on a ship to another world like Virgin Galactic or 5D love life here. So there's this energy of the betrayal of the 30 pieces of silver, and again selling a baby, for money, or again into slavery or any kind of sexual or pornography ring. This energy, and there's definitely parents who have done that, right, to make money from their child. The monk or nun and prayer, praying to be virginal, scribing or writing about Asia Minor was coming up, and cowardice. And again, Asia Minor is the Turkey area. So it's also called Anatolia, Anatolia. Or one, it's Anatolia, which An is one Atolia. So Asia Minor is generally Turkey, but there's land outside of Turkey that's also considered Asia Minor or Anatolia. The Turkish Straits to the Black Sea north, and the Armenian highlands is included as well, east, and the Mediterranean Sea south, with the Asiatic west. And again, Mesopotamia southeast is partly in Asia Minor. So the language there were several different languages, Hittite, Lydian, Lesser Phrygian, Mysian, and also Celtic too, which is interesting. Celtic too in Galatia, as we talked about galactic ships, Galatia was considered Center Asia Minor or Anatolia, as the people were considered Galatians, as we were talking about galactics. So there may have been a lot of ETs coming in there with the Hurrians and Assyrians, the Hattians or Haitians, I don't know how they were pronounced, or Sumerians, Lonians, Dorians, and Aeolic Greeks. The Turkification began under the Seljuk Empire, late 11th century, and the Ottoman Empire from 13th to 20th century. Today, the Republic of Turkey. Non-Turk languages also continue in Turkey today: Kurdish and Neo-Aramaic, Armenian, the Northern Caucasian languages, as well as Laz, L-A-Z, Georgian, and Georgia came up today as well, and Greek. Mount Ararat is also the highest peak in the eastern area in that region, and Armenian highlands. And Anatolia means the east, and was considered east of Greece at the time, where the sun rises or rise up, or Levant, Orient. These are all different languages and the same meaning. So Orient isn't supposed to be something negative or derogatory. It means to rise up, like leavened bread. So Levant and Orient and rising up of the east, to arise or originate from, and also the Mizrah, to shine. From Thrace to Egypt, Anatolia, also known as RUM, with an accent over a peak accent over the U, around 7,000 before Christ. And of course, there were other things erected as far back as 9,600 before Christ. It comes up significant from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age as well, with the earliest history, I guess, on the people data. And this energy for cowardice came up with Alcibiades, the traitor of ancient Athens, Hermaic pillar, so Alcibiades, the son of Cleinias, I'm tearing these names apart, I'm sure, an Athenian, from 450 to 404 BCE, who was a statesman and orator and general, was exiled twice, and also taught by Socrates, and he was his lover as well. He made a lot of enemies due to his disloyalty. He would change his mind or change sides whenever he felt like it, I guess. But he was very good speaker, highly persuasive, and perhaps a little bit of a playboy there as well. He actually worked for both sides, the Athens and the Spartans, and playing both sides, kind of like a double agent there. And at 627, the lovers in the Ace of Wands, the monk on Mount Athos in Carius who drank, and this is another story that came up. There was a mount on Mount Athos in Carius who drank and then died, relieving the pilgrims of his scandalous behavior. Some of them, of course, felt it was very important to tell the elder, and he replied and said he already knew, after seeing the entire battalion or battalion of angels who came to collect his soul. And this was coming up from the site johnsanadopoulos.com. They didn't think that he understood who they were talking about, right? Because this was the town drunk. But the elder said he was born in Asia Minor before the destruction of the Turks, when they gathered up all the boys, and so to protect him, his parents put raki in his milk, or reiki, however you want to pronounce it, to sleep and hide him while they went to the reaping. So he then became an alcoholic. He had reduced, according to the advice of the elder, from 20 glasses to 2 to 3 before his death. So per the elder's instructions, he was to pray and beg to reduce his need for this alcohol, and he had. By the time he died, he was down from 20 glasses to 2 to 3. So again, this lesson, not to judge people because you don't know where they've come from. So Moses and the galactic ship was also coming up, and so I looked it up to see what was coming up, and Virgin Galactic came up because the next cruise today. They're supposed to take off today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from New Mexico, the 5th launch since July 11, 21, with Richard Branson Branson as one of the passengers. So the ship Unity takes off under wings of Eve. How funny is that? Which releases the space plane at 50,000 feet or 15,000 meters, and Unity then fires up with rocket motor to go even higher to reach space. Unity 25 is the last test before they commence commercial service. 4 passengers, 2 pilots to suborbital space, and then 2 others piloting Eve as well. And then they listed the 8 people, but you can look that up as you'd like. But one of them that came up was significant of the 8 people going up was Beth Moses, who actually trains the astronauts. And then Moses came up as the baby in the basket. Also it came up here too was the Christopher Huey, the co-founder of Virgin Galactic's Black Leaders in Aerospace Scholarship and Training Program, which is BLAST or BLAST, which blast off came up multiple times in the past couple of weeks. And this was all coming up from space.com. And so back to the cards of lessons and blessings, of Greece and Rome temples, and the wisdom of the male-female connection and their third eyes, and the relationship back to back, drilling a hole above the Parthenon or the Pantheon, and to build a whispering bench for 2 doves gives 2 doves and giveness. A holy place of offering, leaving the baby as a gift to the gods, right? Or was that a gift to the ETs at the time from a ship who paid handsomely for an active love life? So the monk prays, and Alcibiades orates or scribes about his cowardice in Asia Minor, lacking faith with the sun at the feminine's back but not on the masculine. There's no flame in the masculine's torch. The lover of Socrates, oh my. So at 7:31, with the chariot and the conflict of the group, is the underlying energy of the 28 of the loving man, with an 18-year-old girl, or moonchild perhaps, inspired to write and come clean, with the 28 of the man from Mars, obsessed with galactic, or world travel. So here now comes up the competition of galactic travel between Branson and then the others who are sending spaceships up right now. And or this energy here of the old man's atlas, or broken adoption seal of their records, or father read the diary and broke the seal of their daughter's diary and is now enraged with his father, and there may have been something bad that his father did to his daughter, or this could be a professor as well, or an older worldly man that has done something that he read about in his daughter's diary that she never told him about. So at 7:35 is the chariot and the wounded warrior, or Taurus looking for their next trip or path, or honoring the Knight of Wands by inspiring them with unexpected income or incoming. Perhaps a penny that may represent something significant, or the exchanging of hands. Perhaps they had a deal, and this wasn't part of it when selling their soul or their child to the devil. At 7:38 of Chariot and the Queen of Cups, the 9 of the first card out here is the Queen of Swords with the flowers or gifts, or hermiting with their garden, or a controlling man sending flowers or gift to the powers that be, and the 19 of the Six of Swords to brighten their day and give them peace, as the ships are flights of fancy here on the distant horizon, as 36 an atlas without an anchor, or sending flowers to the university before they take flight. Perhaps health conflicts here, or who to believe, the one who listens and nurses you, or the doctor hanging the IV without a bedside manner, dependent on your being sick. But for the friend or caregiver, it benefits them for you to be well, and give house calls to boot. As perhaps scheduling conflicts come up in a dance of healthcare and Dr. Jekyll or Jackal and Hyde in the tomb or MRI, and stable home of the Emperor and or King of Cups, and the 15 of the Polar Bear in ice water, with the 10 of Wands paralleling the man in jail, both with their right hand reaching out to get out, or a pushy mother who's burdened by their presence, or a gift of jail time, or forced to be still, ending up to be a gift. So again, to see the good in what you had to go through, going through to transcend something, to understand it fully, and then rise above. The 751 of the Chariot and the King of Swords, of the Unicorn and the Stingray, plugged into the Dear One, and the Zebra with their third eye open. After the moth to the flame, and the hawk to the lion's den, in talks with the lion and the buffalo, where both are very calm and grounded and mature, with the unicorn activated and turned on. The Dear One and the activated zebra connect with the hummingbird whispering in their ear to clear the air. And that could be, whispering in the ear could be their psychic connection as well. At 755, the Chariot and the Truth of Excalibur, and the Octopus Teacher, and the Vulture, or Voltaire. In the dark as well as the whale, all watching this go on, the elders, a bird, and a whale weighed down, and the need of a lifeline. With octopus with activated brain, hanging out with whale to see how it's done, in high vibe clearing through sound and touch. At 7:59, the moment before 8, the 7 of the Chariot and the 59 of the 5 of Swords, or the War Within, and the graceful gazelle with sad sack raccoon, reflecting swans with cheetah about to pounce on them, or depressed person who draws by their energy in over-energized energy, or one on its hack, while the brown bear and the dolphin enjoy each other's company, drawing in a peacock who's beautiful inside and out. The mouse hides and then lures the spider, who sets their trap. And this brings in Mr. Ed, who will have none of that, and breaks the traps. And it was so funny, or Teddy was coming in. He always comes in right at the right moment. When I said this brings in Mr. Ed, Teddy comes up. And that was coming up as TED Talks. So the underlying energy here is the Hermit and the Empress, and the Two of Cups travel to the Queen of Swords to get options from the King of Swords, or the Doctor. With Virgo Taurus with Cancer, or getting limo service to the airport, or perhaps to an event, as the Dark Knight and the Knight of Pentacles, or if and only if it's a life or death circumstance, then they will come out to you or make a house call. To the Queen of Cups, the Emperor, or Scorpio and Aries, chaperoning the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. The Emperor may be stressed or sleepless and yet happy and free all at the same time. What could it be? The Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles send out a message and our invite to the world or neighbor or Pisces or Virgo or Gemini, or the Page of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles sovereign or Ketch, to get the Knight of Cups to come and offer love to the Queen of Wands, or a home healing perhaps, with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords offering love and truth and or delivery service, with the Knight of Wands close behind with temptation or an ex or ball and chain, or Saggy with Capricorn tagging along for the ride, as the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Wands are in court, or with Justice or Libra with affections for the King of Wands, or the Geminis between the Judge and the King of Wands, with the High Priestess or Divine Feminine or Advisor present, or Silent Partner or Lover or Sister Act, as Capricorn Queen of Pentacles with the Page of Wands, like Father, like Son, perhaps here with the King of Wands, a Fiery Gemini or Libra with Mediator or Virtuous Lady of Integrity, and the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles could be snubbing the Nine of Wands wounded warrior here, giving them the dirty look, as the King of Cups loving father to 2 kids, and is very emotionally bound as opposed to money bound, which is the King of Pentacles. So the King of Cups may be giving the King of Pentacles a dirty look, knowing that it's much more important to be a loving father to your 2 kids. Perhaps one man is coming off all high and mighty as the wealthy man of the community, and they could be also saying, I'm both. I'm the wealthy man of the community and the perfect father. Or the other man is testifying on their behalf as the King of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles knows it's all BS, with a scowl on their face at 8:16 of strength and sudden events, or the Tower, or an epiphany. So then before I went to bed last night, I did a little bit of scribing to see what kind of messages came up, and I just did a random I'm left-handed. I did a left-handed scribe and then a right-handed at the same time. And then I wrote down pregnancy to see what came up with that, because that energy of pregnancy and new birth is coming up in a lot of the messages this week. So first, my left hand and right hand messages were coming up. Left hand, which is the feminine side, was coming up as genius and extremely bright, which were coming up from two totally different definitions. So it's kind of cool, because to be genius means extremely bright, but they weren't talking about being smart. They were talking about extremely bright light. But it was coming up as the left genius, extremely bright, fluorescent, and then the lettering for fluorescent neon is NE. The number 10 is the number. And then any neon, gold, or perhaps a nurse as the wounded warrior with double 2 U's, to sleep, to train, and then January coming up again here for the feminine side. And again, that's where Pinocchio is supposed to freeze over in January, right when hell freezes over, but it actually happens. Then the right, or the masculine side, came up as the energy of Gabriel with a rough start, right? Like that fallen angel of Gabriel, like in the movie. I'm just blanking out again. But energy, the right side masculine is the energy of Gabriel, right? The messenger with a rough start. Perhaps had to practice before they actually went out there. But they were coming up, the energy was coming up as disjointed, or something without joints, like a weeby, like Gumby. A tree, though, was coming up as well with a wave. And again, the energy of having no spine. And the number 30 also came up at the home, the union, and the Om. And then the reflection of 30, which is OE, which means grandchild or small island, or hello, like a new one coming through, with water, woman, and today. So then I was guided to write down union again, because I always find it kind of ironic that union is coming together as one, but it means to undo connection, because ion is connection. So I wrote it down again as union at 10:01, where UN is the United Nations connection, which also comes up as united in the unforgettable connection, or the double connection, where then EEK from the word weak also means eek, as in something, scary, but it also means face and one and oak and dung, or 2 W's in 1. So there's that reference of the 2 8s together being 8s in both directions as well. So, and again, I told you I'd watched Elizabeth April talking from Shasta the other day, and something on her Instagram came through again too about, so she'd seen all these blue lights a couple days ago, I guess it was, and then she posted that I saw today, it was probably a couple days ago, handprints on their window, and her partner went out to show you, because she's pretty tall, and this hand was much bigger than her hand, so there's these weird 2 handprints on their dirty window where they're staying. So that came up as well. So what came up from the pregnancy scribe, so when you want to bring up energies, you use your opposite hand to write down the word you're asking about. So you can do that with anything. And when I look at the scribing that I do, it's not just the exact interpretation, it doesn't have to spell something exactly, but I will get words spontaneously from just looking at it. And it doesn't exactly spell those words, but write down everything you get from it, and it'll spell out a story for you. So the word pregnancy came up, as well as the bell overlay and Pasquale and God and Possum. I was also getting that an angel gets their wings when the Easter child plays possum or pretends to be dead and wakes up when pushed out. So again, the energy of birthing a baby. And the Easter child coming up. And again, there's that reference to Jesus. The Easter child plays possum, saying, I am and I can. I think I can, but I am. Also at 10:19 here is the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun. The energies of people in West Virginia were coming up, as well as the energy of to want, prosperity, and gravity. Peep. And the energy of the wounded warrior, which is also coming up as a WW as to use, right? So W is to use, but twice. And Etsy was coming up here too. And peepers coming up as well. Also from pregnancy, people-pleasing was coming up, as well as preparation for canopies, which was described as the trees being the canopies. Poverty, courtesy, and depravity also came up. And I had to look up Pasquale, because I'm like, why is Pasquale coming up for pregnancy? So the way it came out for me was Pasquale and God. And what came up was Pascal's wager, which is a philosophical argument by the 17th century French mathematician, philosopher, and physicist and theologian that humans wage with their lives that God either exists or does not, that a rational person should live as God exists and seek to believe in God, that a game is being played of heads or tails. So again, you're much better off assuming that there is God and then learning to believe in God, because if you don't believe in God, then, there could be consequences if there is, right? So Pasquale means Easter child. It's French from Latin Pascal, and a crossword puzzle came up regarding Pasquale's daughter, which came up as a 4-letter word, was Rosa. So then also from Harvard ichthus.org came up Pascal's God-shaped hole or vacuum, that nothing outside of anything in history has made us believe that we can find happiness outside of us, only from God within each of us. Within each of us fallen humans, and the energy was coming up as at 10:30, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Union. We are just one big plop and a long skinny tail. And what does that describe? But a baby it could be a poop or it could be a baby coming out, right? One big plop of the head coming out and then the rest of the body that follows at 10:33. The bell overlay was coming up on Etsy as well, which were a lot of angels' wings. Also the notification bell of the neon light, separate from the neon that was coming up from what I just described on YouTube. Lots of little fairy pics with butterflies, Tinkerbells, and wings energy. And then lens flare came up as well, as in the name Len. And I told you Len keeps coming up. And lens flare came up, which is the flame of Len. The beard was also coming up, and wasted vegetable oil. West Virginia, of course, with WV, but also means how much or many. And then I was getting how much for that doggy in the window. Ruff, ruff. As Daddy was looking out the window, and now he's going to look at me. Yes, I'm talking about you, my love. So, it was funny when I wrote that down, because I put his bed over by the window, because he always lays there. And he was laying in his bed earlier, so I forgot to bring it out here. So instead of putting it where I normally put it, I put it up by the window to see if he wanted to lie in it by the window, but he didn't like it there. But right when I wrote that about the doggy in the window, he was lying somewhere else, not in the bed. He didn't like it. So one for pregnancy, one big plop and a long skinny tail or story through God's shaped hole or vacuum in each fallen human, from Easter child and daughter Rosa, and then referencing the rose of the heart. And right at that moment, at 10:55, is the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Swords or Excalibur. I felt a breeze go by my right eye or face, which wasn't usual. As I look up, I was literally going to look up SY to see what definitions came up. And I felt a breeze by my right eye and face. And SY means she, his, its, side silk, eyes, and I. Sew and stitch, mother, and the letter I as well. And then the word from Middle English, SI3E, which means victory, triumph, success, or to hold. Victory for the right eye of the masculine, of the two-eyed needle. Victory in holding on the mother's side. The possum, to play being asleep, ill, or dead, to play possum, which also means master or in control of I am able, and I can. To drop through the hole and come out the tail. To play small and to come out big. Okay, so there's a very cool play on words there that was coming up. And the fortnight was also coming up as United Nations and United, Unforgettable Connection. And the fortnight is 2 weeks, or the new to full moon, and the full moon to the new. As the next full moon is June 3rd, which is about a week away, so we're about mid-cycle here. So the next message here from today is here at 1:10:19. And we just had 10:19 on the time. So again, that was coming up as the Wheel of Fortune and the 19 of the Sun. And then here we have the top cards, the Journey of Love, then the Metatron deck. I went kind of back to my basics of these decks. And then the Shaman Dreams and the Nature's Whispers, and then my half deck Rider-Waite at the bottom. All right, so this one was done 11:09 to 11:12 this morning. And the cards at the end, so that's 9, 10, 11, and 12. 11:11 came up twice for the Shaman deck and the Nature's Whispers. 9, of course, is the Hermit. 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. 11 is Justice, and 12 is the Hanging Man. The numbers came up 11121 and 13128. The Justice of the 1-to-1 and the 131 of the Twin Flames. The co-creation of wholeness to come full circle and transition. The rebirthing to dance, to be strong and manifest dreams. To co-create, to align with abundance, wisdom, and infinitum, basically. The underlying energy of the at 11:19, which is Justice and the Sun. The 65 in the Breaking, which is the King of Pentacles, 32 of the Tree of Life, 40 of the Mindful, Groupthink, and 13 of Renewal of Peace, along with the Emperor. So the King of Pentacles breaks and falling, hunched onto her arched open heart. In the journey of the Tree of Life, from orange to gold, where the orange is the orangutan, which is the ego man, and the gold is God, the old one, the ancient one. In the clash of the titans to clear the debris, as the Page of Cups innocent, in a mindful group think. A message of love, a baby in the nook of the tree, as all the animals gather around in the forest with Snow White, in the renewal of peace. The P seal, which is peace, the little angel and the Emperor in charge in the end, where then 40, 13, and 4 all came out in a row, and they're all 4s. 40/4, 13/4, and then the number 4. And then the number 4 was IV, or the masculine side only in co-creation, because co-creation would be the V with an I on either side. And that depends on how you look at it, right? That could be the masculine or the feminine, but here it's coming up as the Emperor, so it's definitely coming up as the masculine energy. So at 11:32 of Justice and the Journey, the underlying energy of the 56, and the Dance of the Planets, or the Play Nets. The Fool's Leap 22 to the 42, holding space 1-to-1, and the Dance of the Planets, or Play Nets, which can be like a playpen as well. The 44 of the Rings of Time, and keeping to themselves their harvest, from the 4th finger to the 4th chakra, or the 4th finger, the wedding finger to the heart. A long, disappointing marriage may be coming up here, and learning how to receive love, and having faith in each other. The 14 of Patience to fall and tread lightly, and a higher love requiring the King of Pentacles is breaking and keeping to themselves when sleeping with the enemy. With the 13 of Gifts received naturally in transition, and the 58 with beauty rest, a break, or 5D connection, with the 52 Queen of Swords and the Ancient Ones, where she is open to the light, and the and the 50 of the Cloak of the family happiness cloaking them, or using the protection of the other's kind family to cover them, versus the King of Pentacles with the 10 of Pentacles family, all about the money or things, or power, that could be as well, or in Death of the King of Pentacles and Gifts received, a chance to rest or get their beauty sleep, and the Queen of Swords to speak her truth from the Ancient Ones coming through her to cloak the family with love at 11:42 of alignment with the 1-to-1, the soulmates. The underlying energy of the 45 and endings, held in compassion of the sunset, of the ancestors, and the 5 of freedom of the message in a bottle, corked, in a vacuum of the conch shell, from the sea to the beach or beech tree, which likes to sit at the water. And then the weeping willow is coming up there too from the other day when the trees came up. To speak and be heard when a line has been drawn. To keep sending messages until you have communication. Sudden replenishment in the Holy Grail. A gold rush of heart light to infinitum as the Hierophant suddenly takes flight. Freedom, change, and a sudden epiphany and journey, or about a journey, from the womb to the heart to the third eye tomb of the pineal, and beyond to the infinite golden white light, all starting from a simple message in a vacuum where land meets sea, where groundedness meets emotion, as the earth and water need each other at 1149, which is the alignment with the Knight of Cups. So the first energy here is the 12 of the Akashic Records, the 4 of letting go, and the 34 of the ancestors, and arcing back and forth. With 11 and 24, the cards at the end. So the Akashic Records card is all about opening a book. So I did, but we'll get to that in a second. So open a book or articulate with 2 pages, perhaps 2 young people, to see a new perspective in the Emperor's release, to allow the fall, as a leaf or a feather. It doesn't have to be heavy or hard. The journey to wisdom in the lambda or lamb father leap, in the energetic exchange or arrows of love between ancestors and us, walking away and within to dive into the void, into the Om or the number 30 with the crown on top. And that word size of SI3E, which means victory, when 3 is included, or when size, because the 3 could be interpreted as a Z as well in script, or when size matters. A wake-up call to align and listen, to the Queen of Wands to stretch and lunge, to release fire and reach up. A wake-up call to the Queen of Wands from the other side. So I opened the Most Holy Trino Sophia book that I've showed you before of the Comte de Saint-Germain, and it's by Manly P. Hall at 1158, alignment with the 4 of Swords or the 5D connection. And I opened to the same page I had given to you before, page number 71. And 71 is the 3 of Pentacles of co-creation for me. And it fell open again to page 130, which also came up last time I presented it to you, which I had underlined a few things on that page: the keys of Thoth, the bird, the altar, the torch, and the sky, the triangular altar, and the 81 thrones of Adam, ADM, which adds up to number 9. And in the Gematria letters, it's 1, 4, and 40, which equals 9. But it also is 4, 4, and 1, which is 9. So the Divine Masculine, Magician, Emperor, and Page of Cups are there. And I opened again to get a different page, since that had already come up for you guys about alchemy. And I opened up to page LX1X, which is 69, which is the pod of the 698 pod, coming together to create the 2 P's in a pod, with the 7 being the key. And it was the page was section 11 of 12, and 11 always cracks me up because it's Evelyn, right? So if you just switch the V and the L, it becomes Evelyn with an E instead of a Y at the end, but it's pronounced the same way. But it's also Eve and Len, as Len came up as well. So I'm paraphrasing or just summarizing what came up on these 4 pages of this book. So this is what it's talking about. The step of the palace. I saw a fluttering bird, but having two butterfly wings besides its own. And this person, I don't know who he was because it's just coming in the middle of the sentence. So he was guided to seize this bird, and so he ended up chasing it for 9 days. And then he finally forced it to enter the tower, which he had seen in the distance. The tower was made of walls of iron, 36 columns of the same metal supporting it. In the interior was the same with shining steel. The foundations were twice as deep as above the ground, and the bird had barely entered the tower when they became icy cold and trying to overcome it. But the bird still fluttered, trying to flee, but so feebly that he was able to reach it then with the greatest of ease. I seized the bird, and I drove a steel nail through its wings and affixed it to the floor with the aid of a hammer called whatever it was. And I don't know if it's Hebrew or some other kind of language, but I don't know what it's called. It was just in that language. He had hardly finished when the bird acquired new strength. Its eyes began to shine like topaz as he was distracted by a group in the center of this hall. There was a handsome young man in his prime, with a staff in his hand with 2 serpents interlaced on it. He was trying to escape a larger, more powerful man with girdle and helmet of iron, surmounted by waving red plumes. Near him was a sword on a buckler covered with hieroglyphs. He shackled the youth's feet and body, and 2 red tablets bore certain characters on them. And this is where it changes sections. So we started at section 11 when I opened the book, and now it's going to section 12 in the next sentence. So he left the tower at this point, opening a door between 2 pillars. He found himself in a vast hell. Oh, not a hell, but hall. Sorry, I just couldn't read my writing. He found himself in a vast hall. It was round like a crystal globe, resting upon a basin of sand. With gentle and equable warmth, a saffron yellow vapor rose and enveloped him, and actually raised him up gently for 36 days up to the upper globe, where the vapor then thinned as if then he descended back to the floor again. His robe had changed in color from green to red, and the sand had changed from red to black. 3 days more in the hall. He left to enter a large place with colonnades and gilded porticos. In the center was a bronze pedestal supporting a group representing a large, strong man with a crowned helmet, with a blue garment coming out from beneath his gold armor. In one hand he had a white staff with certain characters on it, and in the other he extended to a beautiful woman who wasn't dressed but with the sun radiating from her breast. Her right hand held 3 globes joined by golden rings. A coronet of red flowers held her hair as she sprang into the air, which then lifted he with her, both borne up by clouds about the group. On the capitals of 4 white marble columns were 4 bronze statues with wings, who appeared to sound the trumpets. He crossed the place, mounting on a marble platform, noticing he had re-entered the Hall of Thrones, which was the first in the Palace of Wisdom. The triangular altar the triangular altar came up in the first pages I opened, so now they're explaining the triangular altar. The triangular altar is still in the center, but the bird, the altar, and the torch were joined and formed into a single body. Near them was a golden sun. The sword I brought from the hall of fire. A few paces on was the cushion of one of the thrones. He took the sword and struck the sun, reducing it to dust, and then touched it, and each molecule became a golden sun like the one he had broken. Instantly a loud melodious voice exclaimed, "The work is perfect!" And hearing this, the children of light joined him. The doors of immortality opened to him, and the cloud which covers the eyes of mortals were dissipated. Eyes saw, and the spirits presided over the elements, knew him for their master. And that was page 72. So it went from 69 to 72, and 72 then represents the 72 by 72 of the 144, and then it was FINIS, which means finished. So it talked about the 11th and the 12th section. So of course, because 11 is Evelyn, I wanted to see what 12 had for a message for us. So it ended up coming up as both with Eve, right? Because 12 has Eve in it as well, but there's an L stuck in there. So 11 came up as Eve and Len, so the names Eve and Len, and then 12 comes up as Eve and then LTW. And LTW is lightweight, but it also is the leap to the TW, which is the twin. So, and EVEL also means like or smoke. It can be evil as well, but this isn't evil energy here. So 11 comes up as Eve or friend and leap to Jesus. And then 12 comes up as Eve of lightweight or leap to twin, or like Jesus and like twin. So 11 and 12 is also the E of 11 and the T of 12 is ET of 11 and welve, which is well in the holy place of offering or birth pangs. And ET is also and in French of AND, DNA, and Dan. And TE is the reflection of ET, which is the moral man, Dan. And ET is DNA and double Andromeda, or Andy and Pegasus, which came up last time. Andromeda and P and gaseous as Pegasus. So the underlying energy of the root girl comes up here with 46. And prior to that was the metox of the 39 in the Knight of Cups at 104, the Magician and the Emperor. And then the 16 of the empty well, the 43 of overflow of good and plenty, the 35 of the lost compass, the 28 of the hollow bone, the 4 of the cat ER pillar, and the 40 of the page of cups and the mindful group think. So after the Knight of Cups detoxes, and then to the disowned self, or detoxing the disowned self, but then came up as the disowned self afterward, with sudden need to fill up, feeling empty, and coming together, but then overwhelmed because it became too much, or that energy of being really starving and then really being overly full, or the past suddenly overwhelming as the wounded warrior returns at the 11th hour, getting back to integrity of the twin flame, hollowing or humbling oneself in order to be teachable, to open up a path with the Emperor, or the Lambda leap, a cat ER pillar opportunity to unravel piece by piece. And it was bringing up the spine in the cat ER pillar as well. To unravel piece by piece, or vertebrae by vertebrae, and shift by shift, the cat's eyes in compassion, and the page of cups loving mindful group think, or the grands and grandkids partnering up to assist each other, or the Knight of Cups and the Six of Cups, Scorpio and Pisces perhaps, coming together at the 11th hour to become humble teacher and student. The Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups, and some structure perhaps, or mediation, at 111. And then I wrote down 112 too, separately from that. So there's that 11th and 12th section again coming up. So the 24 of the Queen of Wands and the Galactic Mushroom, the Queen of Swords 52 and Straddling Worlds, being the Matrix and the Go-Between, as we have all the Go-Betweens right here, along with the Watchers on the other side, the 60 of the Six of Swords and those who are in peace, the peaceful Tyons, the Tiger Lioness Totem, or piggyback couple in the desert. I was getting Desert Storm again there too. Or this is a desert couple with shaman energy. Perhaps bamboo here as well, or lattice work, or weaving. So the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords are making peace with the Queen of Cups 38 on the outside, with many masks of their authentic self. Or the Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords are coming between the Page of Cups and Queen of Cups, mother and child, or that could be siblings as well, or friends, just both water signs or very emotional type people or heart-based people. Or they're covering each other, having their back, as the galactic or gal act of the inner child and the two vine of the divine matrix, the two vine mother with tricks, or pulling back the layers to reveal the shaman Wilson. I wanted to say wisdom, but Wilson was coming up initially. Or that, I couldn't think of what it's called. There used to be a sock'em toy. Sock'em, and there's that song too, right? Sock it to me. Oh, that's from, I want to say Lovin'. shoot, what's the show called? But anyway, you know what I'm talking to. I guess it's the Carol Burnett. Is it the Carol Burnett show with Sakatumi? Sakatumi. So the Shaman Wilson or Sockum toy, the cocoa nut or bubble brain or fluorescent outside, but the shaman's at the seat of it. Perhaps a space cadet or very fixed coming together with peacemakers and the Queen of Swords as the go-between. 3 queens here, but not the Queen of Pentacles, who's the 66 of the Golden Gates, as this deck only goes up to 64. So at 124 is the leap to the Queen of Wands, the Omega energy, and the underlying energy of the 50 of the 10 of Cups ultimate family, and the potential gateway of the 7 of amplification of positive emotions, the 17 of infinite blessings, the 1 of making a wish, the 4 of the pause, and the 13 of the renewal of peace. The magic tree with the King of Pentacles' journey to the Page of Cups of innocence, and the 10 of Cups family, which is the 1 for all and all for one as well, the Page of Cups and the 10 of Cups. The family fulfillment of 1 for all and all for one, with the little chariot creating ripples amongst the ancient ones, sprinkling infinite blessings on everyone. The little fairy girl with stardust, DNA, using positive emotions, and I was just getting a positron, using positive emotions to make a wish, with dandy lions, where we have Dan and Daddy lions, and your DNA on them, with fairy tales and dreams come true, pausing at the trunk before leaving baby behind, and no one puts baby in the corner. The little gamma ray brings blessings, so make a wish, pausing to ground and stabilize for transition and the renewal of peace. As the fairy grows up to have their own little fairy tale, wanting that same stability that they now feel at 132, the leap to the journey. So then to 33, which is the Christ vibration of unity consciousness. And the first card being 20, or perhaps I-20 is coming up. And the higher ground is the giant rose, or the little fairy that has risen to higher ground, or leveling up in a wake-up call. With the 9 of the Hermit and a perfect setting, or sun rising too, as well as the daughter rising, and the 44 of Hercules, her Q lesson or course in the forest. Forest, run! As learning to receive love from Esther Williams and sink or swim, and there's that reference to her in the movie as sinking or swimming, and then him as being, oblivious to everything, which then opens him up to everything. This energy of forest and learning to receive love from Esther Williams in Sink or Swim, or from the 4th finger to the 4th chakra, which in the end of the movie they do get married, is making me want to cry. The 9 candles of the 4 plus 4 plus 1, which is the reflection of 144 for good luck, as the 8 holds the power plus 1, which is the 81 of the end of karma around the world, and also 18 is the reflection, which is the high energy. For good luck, as the 8 holds the power plus 1 in the end, it's time to let go with compassion, the easy pass connection. That the channels of Venice, or is it the Venusian waters, a veil of good wishes stream from her birthday cup, or her birthday cap. So she's got like the Esther Williams bathing cap and a trail, like a veil of wishes. A soft spot, right at the crown, all aglow with dear one in tow, only focused on the biggest flame, the horse with no name, or is that no mane? And did he cut all his hair off? Oh my! Or only antlers on dear one who can't take their eyes off of you. Can't take my eyes off of you. The blower's daughter, just a little flame within, a concept or conception, and life lesson 44, which becomes the 8 in a breakthrough of butterfly magnitude on gossamer wings, and a slew of butterflies here with open hearts to ocean waves and waves of grain, flying in the rough waters and holding on to the trunk of the tree to catch your breath in the shadows. At 144, a nut tree perhaps, and you don't fall far from They're always there, no matter what. Dancing with the devil, or Leo and Capricorn with Scorpio, Aquarius and Virgo support, as the underlying energy at 146 is the world with the Six of Cups. The world and the magician of she and he, or Pisces and Gemini or Virgo, or Aries makes 3. A choice given of 2 wands, and yet she has 2 already and he 1, as she twists hers and he commands with his. I commend my spirit into his hands. And then I was getting that energy from Jesus Christ Superstar. And into thy hands I commend my spirit. A reward for good merit from the King of Swords, unable to sleep until their message of freedom rings, and the message of the gold coin is mastered as the King of Pentacles, or the king is not free until they release their progeny. The Page of Swords stepping up to the plate, and the Page of Pentacles, the award-winning student, who's well on their way to be just like the King of Pentacles. But the King of Cups turns away and is defensive about that, turning their efforts to the Six of Cups kids or their soul tie, or fond memories of temptation of when Capricorn was excited, or that Capricorn waved, and the Page of Wands is excited to serve the venerable High Priestess as the Knight of Wands rushes in from the other side with the Queen of Cups, or family mediation between the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups with Pisces or Virgo in the middle, or the Queen of Cups is the fiery High Priestess or Pisces, and the King of Cups is the Capricorn who's excited and honored if they would have them. Perhaps the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles are also mediating or sisters, or with a Judge or Libra between them to be fair with guidance from the Hermit, or the Empress and the Emperor's advisor, or the Empress and the Emperor have the Nine of Pentacles independent between them, or that's their own independence, or Libra representing the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, and independent Virgo representing their parents or grandparents, or estate planning here, or Taurus and Aries, or parents or grands, are finally independent from all their children, or advising on loan. Or the Queen of Cups Pisces, Libra, is with Queen of Pentacles Virgo, with independent Taurus and Aries, or T&A, in a little celebration here, with the King of Pentacles leading the way to the new, in the wake of the Emperor's death, or welcoming a new child while transitioning an Emperor, and that could just be transitioning to a facility as well, at 208. But I feel a lot of, for the twin flames, a lot of their parents were like placeholders for the grid. And so they were holding the place until the unions would come in, for then the union couple to take their posts. At 208, and remember my parents were 7 years and 7 days apart, both Geminis, so there's a big twin flame energy reference there. So at 208 is the High Priestess and the 8 of the dance of strength and manifesting your dreams, with the Lovers, the King of Wands, and the Death card. There could be a celebration of life here, as the King of Wands lovingly is looking back at the Emperor, or perhaps looking back at his own position and now leaving to transition to the Knight of Swords now coming in. Or news comes in quickly from a religious leader to please stop and think before you do this. Talking to the King of Wands, Dark Knight, or fiery Gemini or Scorpio here, or a challenge in a death match, 2 knights fighting for the honor or for her hand, as the Grim Reaper in his Sunday best suit on a white horse, leaving the scene of a crime or death at a funeral. The King of Wands pay their respects, and now he's leaving, even if they have to walk right over a few people and or kids, or cops rushing in, or a deliverance. A message or e-message of truth, as biting as it may be, finding happiness with self and the Knight of Cups, offering love to the Queen of Wands, but they're not paying attention, as the Knight of Cups could be asking a mother for their blessing to marry their daughter, Page of Cups, before whisking them off for a marriage license or traveling to the Queen of Swords for counsel. Or Scorpios going between the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands as Gemini or air sign friend to get in their way, or going to visit the Queen of Wands one-to-one with the Page of Cups. Perhaps a surprise visit, or perhaps they just arrived early, or the Page of Cups Cancer with the Queen of Swords is looking to see what's coming next, as Teddy would be looking out the window. And right at that moment, a big white van came up. It didn't look like the postman, but it was, and it was postwoman, not man. So there's a message from the postwoman, and Teddy was on alert at 2:19, which is the divine feminine or higher self and the sun. And then at 2:20 is when they actually delivered. As she when she got back in her truck, she looked north as she got back in to drive south. And there's that energy of the Knight of Pentacles in the one deck. They're looking forward, but they go back because they have to get something done first before they go forward. Very interesting. So now we have the read on the table, as it's 1:40 on the clock here. And, okay. So here's the read on the table, so you can see it better. I'm going to pull that out a little bit so you can see it better. Okay. I'll pull it up a little closer too so you can see some of the cards. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. The little gems I put down, look at the shadows there. It looks like two parents and a child. That's really cool. Look right there. Really cool. I didn't notice that before. And if it looks like something else to you too, because it is looking like other things to me now too, and it's really cool because it's like the flames are reflecting from the stone, but there's no flame in them, but the flame's right behind them. You see this flame here was reflecting through these stones, and it's showing up in the people, the figures here. Look. Really cool. Look at the flames in their heads. It's really cool. So, oh, it was weird. I was meditating before I went to sleep, not last night, but the night before. And then all of a sudden I heard someone come in and going, and I don't use the F word, but it was saying F, F, F. But I just heard it so clearly. I was like in such a deep meditation. I'm like, who the heck was that? But it was, again, someone angry coming through. It could have been my twin. And then like 30 seconds later, my whole body jerked. It was really interesting. That was like at 2:14 in the morning, which is Valentine's Day. When I looked at the clock, it was 2:14. But this one was cut from the SIRIAN Starseed deck at 7:50, which is the Chariot and the Ten of Cups. And then I finished clarifying at 8:02 to 8:03 there with the Higher Self, which is the High Priestess, the Strength card, and Abundance, which is the Empress. Before the read was the Luna or Moon and the Starseed energy, which is the Fool. And then after the read was Justice and Reason, which is the Emperor. So we have both the Empress and the Emperor here. There was 1 cup, 4 swords, 2 pentacles, and 1 wand, which is 14 and 21, the Temperance card, and the 21 of the World. Patience and completion, or patience with completion, in coming full circle. And then the Queen of Cups with the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, so 3 queens, and the Knight of Swords. And before the read was the Nine of Wands, and after the read was the Nine of Cups, so the Wounded Warrior, and then the one who finds emotional sovereignty comes up at the end. We had double 3s, 4s, 6s, and 9s that came up. 33 is the Christ vibration. 44 is that Hercules energy. 66 is the Queen of Pentacles and the Golden Gate. And then the 99, Agent 99, is like lots of compassion here and to get smart. So the code line here, there were no numbers on the code line today or from this read, which was actually on the 23rd. And the telepathic vision, or the Christed vision, was coming up, being wise in alternating currents of the DNA of the inner child and that C energy of that high Christed energy of the inner child. The Queen of Swords, A and B, coming up, beginning from the egg in the hour of flames. And it was very interesting because AC was coming up and AB and the energy of ABC. Right? They both have A, but one has C and one has B, but together they become ABC. And I'm getting XYZ as well because that came up in another video recently. And then TVNZ came up, which is TV in New Zealand. And AB means father, fire, shoulder, and river, as well as abdomen and things you would commonly think of. But the TV of Christ and the Queen in alternating currents with DNA of the inner child of the Queen of Swords and the ABCs of the Hour of Flames. And I was getting the energy of Abel there too. That you are able, like I think I can. You in the being able, the being able to hollow yourself to become teachable, to become the student of life. The Hour of Flames. And then JC Superstar also came up, and again the letters J and C become the toroidal field with direction. Jesus Christ Superstar and Godspell both came up with the wise oaken ship, and in the beginning the energy of the needle, the two-eyed needle, the hunger of the oak and the oaken ship or the ark, and Jacob's ladder, the inner child DNA and the Queen of Swords, the father to cry me a river, as one sees and one bees, right? So we have the one who's a C and the other who's a B. One sees and the other just is to be. As Christ TV, wise and hungry with the DNA of the inner child, the Queen of Swords, wise of thought in the fiery river, in the hour of flames. And there's that energy of the baby in the basket going down the river too with Moses. So the Queen of Cups is upright in the underlying energy here with the mini cards on top. And I want you to notice where this purple spot, I was just noticing that, because it's right here, right? Right there is where her hand holds the sword of truth. That's the trigger, right? The truth trigger. And that's what's being lit up right there. I didn't notice that before either. And look at all the lights right now. They're really cool. Look at this candle right now compared to this one. And then the pyramid and the light. And then the three wise men watching over here. That's really cool. And again, the three messengers of the three dice, because they're all mutables today. All right, so you got all those threes going on there. So with the Queen of Cups upright in the underlying energy, with the Four of Swords reversed, the Two of Pentacles upright, the Moon upright, or Luna, the Nine of Wands upright, the Wounded Warrior, and then the Starseed reversed, unable to sleep or awake and juggling at night, the Wounded Warrior falls or does something foolish or trips up or is embarrassed in front of the Queen of Cups. So the King of Wands, or is that the Knight of Wands? I think it's the Knight. Destined to learn about the Divine Masculine's heart in his awakening, with no rest, busy at work, performing romantically, as the Wounded Warrior fell for the Queen of Cups at 10 a.m. And I was just getting I am with space between, or did something dumb in lacking faith, as the Queen of Cups who comes together in joy to heal and get over any loss or disappointment, with the Knight of Swords, aggressive words, or delivery that wasn't the best, as the Knight of Wands is destined student of the Batcave and the practicality of the Divine Masculine's heart, awakening to the infinite dance of romance, on their last leg and falling for the Queen of Cups, or knocked for a loop and never saw it coming, as the Queen of Cups and Knight of Swords coming together to heal, to forgive, to apologize, and get over it. As justice prevails, as the Judge or Libra peeks out, detoxing with the Hierophant at night, or subconsciously, or Libra and Taurus detoxing the devil between them in romance, or night court, or justice and the legislative purge of the subconscious, or Libra with Capricorn in their chart, and Taurus with Cancer front and center. As hell and heaven and the hounds of hell, the lobster up in arms, and mad as hell and not going to take it anymore, at the establishment, the government, or neighbors' dogs barking at all hours, with justice system breaking chains with the all boys club or the Vatican, or Libra or mediator cutting ties with Taurus or the powers that be, whether that's religious, establishment, community, or marriage, or marital counsel at night, or detoxing, and that can be outside or subconscious, or detoxing sexual energy between Libra and Taurus at night, with Libra upright, Taurus and Cancer upright, and Cancer and Capricorn reversed here. And Capricorn not in a good light. So perhaps the Queen of Cups is a Cancer here, or Cancer rising. As in the recent past, we have the Queen of Pentacles, but reversed. Perhaps ungrounded, without choice, revealing a secret or a secret passion with the King of Wands. The Queen of Cups is upright, the Queen of Pentacles reversed, and the King of Wands upright is delivering their truth, but perhaps they come off as harsh words. As the Queen of Pentacles Earth, and again this is looking back at the recent past here, the Queen of Pentacles reversed may be Earth sign or earthy Pisces who's not well, and the King of Wands is upright but definitely fiery with all three signs around, all three fire signs. As the King of Wands, post-war or virus, or words that were hard to hear, offers time, money, and energy or new life to the Four of Wands home or celebration or their destiny. As the Knight of Pentacles offers help or work or something practical to the Nine of Swords, the one who's not sleeping or is stressed out or purging and having nightmares. As the King of Wands is learning to master their desires. As the Knight of Wands is toning down their flame to a slow burn instead of high. And that can represent someone who is always high as well. As the foundation here is the Six of Pentacles upright, sharing dreams of cheating death, or dark night and running from profound changes, or Scorpio upright, perhaps a slave driver, or Atlas holding the past over their head, or having a hard time for a really long time getting over a death, or working through the past. Also, the Queen of Cups could be sharing and affecting those around them, triggering purges. Initially, it might be hard, but then leaving them or lifting them of their old traumas. All three water signs here with one card up and one down. So all three water signs could be positive or negative or alternating between. So the Queen of Cups upright could be a Pisces reversed or a Scorpio Cancer upright, probably more likely Scorpio Cancer here, sharing with earthy Pisces or earth sign with Pisces in their chart, and the central energy of the higher self reversed, not in their higher self or in their higher integrity, or just needs to follow their intuition about a secret passion, or perhaps they just let the cat out of the bag after hanging out and being wise, unable to walk away from uncomfortable energies or emotions. So they were dreaming or daydreaming instead, saving up or assessing their value or worth to see where they stand, challenged by the Queen of Swords, perhaps Libra or woman, or integrity and truth, or Lady Liberty grounded with a handle on the truth that we just talked about, charged with making decisions or judging the truth, which could be a judge. The Magician reversed or Gemini or Virgo in their chart may be being charged or covered or replaced by the Knight of Wands on the behalf of the King of Swords reversed, who may have choked or needs to swallow their pride, or the King of Swords reversed with Aquarius in their chart may be trying to manipulate the Queen of Swords upright, or the Queen of Swords not prepared for the way that King of Swords reversed came at her or came for her or is coming. As the Knight of Wands is coming in to save the day, or coming in when the Queen of Swords doesn't have the right tools, without letting the King of Swords reverse know, who is then pissed, or showing up unannounced, seeking to render them powerless in doing that. Definitely narcissistic energies here of someone negative who lies or is verbally abusive, or manipulation to I don't know what I was writing there. To know, it's like to beat them down so that their Knight of Wands upright can then come and save the day or rescue the insecure. So the narcissist makes you insecure verbally abuses you, or acts like you're crazy, like when you say things. So they stay really monotone, right? They never react to anything you say. And then when you're upset about something else, they get to come in and save the day, but they were actually the one who put you in that low energy in the first place, so that they could then come in and save you. But that energy of one coming in to rescue the insecure, the ones without their own tools, or perhaps dependence here. And now crowning is the strength through the ring of fire, the longing, and the birthing with a rebel yell, after trapped, anxious, or imprisoned, or the anxious and depressed all around the Queen of Wands, who's upright, a fire sign, strong Leo here, or Saggy. It could be two brothers competing with each other, or two knights competing for their lover, and three queens here, as the Knight of Swords to the Queen of Cups upright, or the Knight of Wands to the Queen of Swords upright. So it could be two different energies here, and couples. At 11:11, again, the twin flame energy, or double justice, or double jeopardy, where both the King of Wands upright and the Queen of Wands upright are with people around them struggling, as the Queen of Pentacles reversed could be settling out in an ending, or the Queen of Pentacles reversed with the Queen of Cups upright may be sharing, but the Queen of Swords may be a challenge. Or emotions and desires are stable, but thoughts and words a challenge, especially when ungrounded or without financial stability. Where all four queens are right here, only the Queen of Pentacles is reversed, as the Queen of Wands could trigger a birth, or be nurses in a maternity ward, or a few women delivering a child. Could be a home delivery as well with all women. But the Ten of Cups reversed may be worried or concerned. The Page of Swords reversed, perhaps struggling, but the worst now is over. In working with the Page of Cups reversed, or after two miscarriages, or just having a hard time with the Page of Swords reversed and the Page of Cups reversed, and perhaps trying to launch them, or failure to launch of your children, or trying to pass their driver's test, or begging for a car, seeing all their neighbors' families spending a lot of money on them. There could be a funeral or celebration of life in the underlying energies, or current, but leaving the current energies now, as the Ten of Cups reversed and the Ten of Pentacles are both reversed, and the Page of Swords reversed, perhaps Aquarius, over the work and not working. They could be overworking or not working, with the Page of Cups reversed, who could be Cancer, have Cancer in their chart, or maybe dealing with someone with Cancer. One with a lot of pain and another with a break, or in the ER after an accident and having to come full circle or face the other side of the family, who are now both showing up. Or the Ten of Cups reversed and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, both showing up. And again, they're like the Montagues and the Capulets. Could be a twins delivery or preemies in the ICU. But the worst, and this could also be two families having separate children who end up in the ICU together and then have to run into each other. But the worst is now over, and now still or casted, a splint or under tension, or unable to move, as the cycle is complete and the Ten of Pentacles reversed paid, or the family of loss and or dysfunction, or patients re-energized, or angels taking care of the pets or kids. As Cancer's reversed, but Pisces, Saggy, and Leo are upright, or angel is gifting sick kids, or special trips or vacations. Or Saggy and Leo, kids or pets, exposing the King of Pentacles for his strength, surrounded by kids and pets, or lots of little egos, or Jerry's kids, unable to sleep or rising above, the wounded warrior refusing to give up, but disconnected or at a distance from the Queen of Pentacles reversed, mothers and kids who have struggled a lot, and those who have helped them here. Soon as the Empress reversed, with a lack of abundance, but I was getting Jack of all trades as well. The Empress reversed with a lack of abundance after the sweethearts, being loving to each other and yet standing up for themselves as well. Or the Nine of Pentacles dependent, or one who feels powerless, is with the Page of Wands reversed, could be the one with hostilities, knowing when to tell others to go away, or when enough is enough, in a loving way. Or the Empress reversed, who may be a new mother who needs to rest and find peace and will invite them back when they're ready. Or an opportunity for the Hermit reversed, who's over-isolating and pushed to their emotional limit, or overwhelmed and sharing their war stories. And that could be like two mothers in the ward, sharing their war stories. or after the Empress reverse and the Hermit reverse are discharged, having to pay just then push them over the edge, or feeling unable to repay all those who gave at 1140 and need some time alone to send thank you notes. With Pisces, Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus are reversed, a Taurus child would be well here, or a child visiting ill grandparents could also be right there. As the twin flames at 1143 of alignment and coming together, the twin flames seeing themselves as the Six of Swords or at peace, and that came up with the desert couple, the totem pole with the lion and the tiger lioness couple with shaman energy. So the twin flames seeing themselves as the Six of Swords at peace, with a heated exchange and being out in the cold or without, or dealing with those feeling left behind or frustrated, perhaps making peace with layoffs or kids struggling in a practical way, or lovers out in the cold, the injured, the ill, and the exiled, without growth or uninspired, or unable to conceive or hold a child, or unable to seed, presenting the truth until they are satisfied that all is known, and that could be getting advice from a doctor or something like that. As the Emperor reverse may be at the hospital, or not well and abusing their power at work, or always insisting on having their way. And that brings me up, when my children were little, going to the dentist, Jenna had a really bad experience. She had to get, I forget what she had. I mean, she has no cavities. I don't know if it was a cavity or not. She had to have something. I don't know if she had to have a tooth pulled or something, but they had to give her gas. And she had a really bad experience. It wasn't good. And what I found out after she left that day was that her dentist was dying. And he was taking it out on her, which was awful, because he wasn't being nice that day at all. But this is reminding me of this. There could be disgruntled customers here too, giving the Emperor reversed a piece of their minds, or the whole truth, and again, mad as hell and not going to take it anymore. Or kids finding or making peace with the way their parents were treated or handled in a home or in a hospital, or by those working on their house, right, being taken advantage of, or just not triggered by others' negative words or trolls. As around the twins are how they're seen is the Ace of Swords upright, with the truth always right there, just below the surface. The foolish Empress reversed, or elder who took a fall, or lacking faith and in lack, or Aries and Taurus both reversed, juggling act. Perhaps, misery loves misery, right? Misery loves company, but also being dramatic or in a performance, or back to the daily grind after a sudden event or an epiphany or sexual exchange or constant drama, and resistance to change, or with Scorpio reversed, freaking out, and the truth that sets you free. Perhaps, too, are just acting silly on purpose to lighten things up or make elders happy, or Aries and Taurus battle it out for the North Node, with Scorpio reversed, held over Taurus's head now as the infinite dance of the planets. The block here being the Knight of Swords, as the King of Cups shares with the Queen of Swords upright, X, or the Knight of Swords information in person, or delivers what he got from the Empress reversed and or Hermit reversed, perhaps bringing back a message. Or the block here is the King of Cups and Queen of Swords' announcement of a breakup or lack of affection, or Mother reversed and Daughter reversed challenged by legal implications at 12 o'clock on the dot, and that's when Cinderella turns back into a pumpkin. Or the Queen of Pentacles reversed versus the Empress reversed, and that could be Mother turning against Daughter after perhaps getting in trouble, and a lack of integrity between them, challenged by the Queen of Swords upright, or the law, or the truth, or 5D messages of truth in birthing a union, or getting through the crap of a new home, or renovations, or a celebration at home, which of course ends up being really messy, or the rest home that may be a mess, or no place of rest. As the Page of Wands reversed is the Knight of Cups upright, all over the place, just before approaching the Queen of Cups with love. Perhaps a bit ADHD here, but the Knight of Cups and Queen of Cups really do love each other. As the King of Pentacles is being strong and unable to sleep, With the Nine of Wands, Wounded Warrior and Disconnector at a distance, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave, either she's refusing to let go or hoarding, or with the Divine Masculine's heart insisting on starting over with new information that threw them off balance and started a fight, or got them clear about the pursuit of happiness and the impossible dream, as Justice of or with the Emperor reversed, who may be living in the past or looking back to heal their heart and find happiness within themselves at 1209, the Hanging Man and the Hermit, as then 2 fours of the Four of Pentacles reversed and the Four of Swords reversed, and the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave without rest, surrendering to all that is, romancing the Wounded Warrior, unraveling the mysteries of their past, after knocked for a loop by the Queen of Cups, sharing and charitable, and at peace with the truth, to or about the Queen of Pentacles reversed, who's not in their higher self, challenged by the Queen of Swords in their integrity, with the Empress reversed and their Knight of Swords deliverance of 5D messages, and bursting through the ring of fire to reach the Tyon, the Tiger-Lioness union, or find their way home, to blind justice without reason, with no gifts, and yet healing and forgiving to be happy with self and get their wish. And I was getting the parallel to the lions, tigers, and bears from the Wizard of Oz, because the Tyon is the tiger and the lioness, but there's something about the bear being missing here. So after reaching the Tyon union, to find their way home, to blind justice without reason, no gifts, and yet still healing and forgiving to be happy with self and get their wish. And that could be like someone, like being like a bear, because they're trying to figure out what their gifts are, but maybe they're not feeling their gifts coming online. Maybe they're not supposed to have certain gifts because they're already doing their gift and they don't realize it. With the Empress reversed and the Emperor reversed, both, and there could be 2 empresses, it could be both, with union of justice or mediation between, perhaps over a house, as the Queen of Pentacles reversed is holding on to start over, once clear about what they want or what will make them happy, or perhaps wanting service for 9 in an underground vault. And that could be someone who wants 9 people gone. I wasn't getting that before, but that just came up. At 1219 is the Hanging Man and the Sun, with the Queen of Cups upright and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, after the Wounded Warriors, lacking faith in the Queen of Cups, or embarrassed themselves in front of her, sharing their secret passion and challenged by the Queen of Swords and their truth, but wanting to birth and be strong and courageous to find peace with the Empress reversed on the other side, with the Ace of Swords and the Knight of Swords, the whole truth to be delivered, in union home of justice, truth, and balance and alignment, with the Emperor reversed or unreasonable man who's living in the past heartbreak and milking it to get their own way, or self-satisfaction or celebration of life, perhaps his last wish of will and testament or testimony. With the Queen of Cups upright and higher self reversed, the challenge being the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords both upright, or a lot of truth coming in, and birthing a strong union home, or being strong in letting a home go, perhaps now both parents are gone at 1226, the Hanging Man and the Page of Wands, which is also coming up, the year 2026. All right, and the years 22, 23, and 24 came up as significant. So then 25, 26, and 27 will be significant as well. And 27 is the Ace of Wands. That's going into the brand new cycle, the new beginning. So let's just pull an energy card here, see what comes up for you guys. As we're at 20840, which is the Page of Cups, the 40, and then the 2 and the 8 is the higher self or divine feminine, and the 8 of the dance of innocence, the dance with the children, right? The young children, the new seeds, or their own innocence. And it's 5:23 on the clock, which is the King of Wands, 23/5. And the Hierophant could be coming up there too, with the Taurus energy and the King of Wands, or just the establishment or marriage. All right, whoop. And just like an accordion effect is what I was getting. You see how they just came up like that. And then there's another card coming up here too. We have the 5 of the Hierophant again, the attachment of freedom, change, and expansion, removing the mask of attachment. And then the 4 of the family, and is that a sham fam, right? Are they pretty on the outside, but a mess on the inside of the family, right? Just performing for the crowds. That could be as well. The need to take off that mask. And here again, we have the 5 and the 4 of the Hierophant and the Emperor, and the powers that be. And then here's the transition of financial constraints, but this can be literally destitution of anything. It doesn't just have to be financial, right? But just feeling that the cupboards are bare in some way, some kind of destitution, and the need to change with the 5. And remember the alternation between freedom and stability. But then being left with this void here in transition, not understanding where they're supposed to be. And then we have the 12 of the temple path. There's that energy of the Garden of Prayer from Thomas Kincaid. And in that painting, you can see Jesus walking on the path. So there's the energy of seeing things through a new perspective, being wise. And again, the marriage altar as well coming up here. And the rest and rejuvenation of the masculine here with the sun. Taking a vacation to get some rest. As the underlying energy is also the 8 of the dance, right? And being confused about which direction to go in indecision. And again, Red Riding Hood, making it through the woods to grandmother's house. So instead of the grandmother, it could be to grandmother, which is the earth, the planet. Not knowing which way to go, but instead leap, perhaps, to a new dimension. So again, the indecision and the underlying energies and the need to detach, take the mask off, and break your chains to find freedom. But remember, this is alternated in balance with stability as well, but not to pretend. And then, right, because pretending with a mask and pretending with the illusion of a perfect family is the, and again, all the world's a stage, and I'm getting that, the comedy and tragedy masks, that it's important to balance between the freedom and the stability. Otherwise, if you're faking it, you're left destitute in transition or in death. As we then have the hanging man seeing new perspective and taking the steps 1, 2, 3, 4. And perhaps there's a 5th there too, alternating again between the 5 and the 4 of freedom and stability. To find the light within, the sunshine within. And again, there's that energy of Jesus with the hanging man and the sun. And again, just finding that temple path, the temple within, your temple, your little piece of God, your little piece of heaven is right there within. And I want to put these cards the way they've come up. So they came up like the 3 circles and the 2 circles, but the other way around. So we have the 3, no, that's right, the 3 on top, I forget which. But anyway, the 3 cards and the 2 cards are coming up here, of the 3 and the 2 of the 5 of the 23 year. And the 32 journey. Okay. And just the energy of these 5 together. And again, that's the full house that came up the other day too. When the mask is reviewed and family revealed, all is well at home within the personal field. That's what's coming up. Okay. Remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature. To honor yourself and know yourself first. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, and always use it. Be present every day. It's fine to fall off balance, but then just come right back to the heart again. It's fine to cry. Just come right back to your heart again. And don't worry about any of it. All is well in every moment. Rise and be loved, guys. Don't forget to breathe. I'll see you soon.